Welcome back, beautiful people, to another episode of the BambooSZN Podcast, the podcast where you're going to hear stories of transformation, resilience, and growth. This podcast is sponsored by Dorian Wormsley Wellness, a coaching business built to help you build a strong mind and a clear body through sobriety and fitness. Today's episode is one of a kind. The first time I'm having the partner of a previous guest on to share his story and share some insights of what he went through at a young age and then to get to where he is now. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I was a kid, I got into a lot of trouble. My late teens, early 20s, I was in and out of jail doing dumb shit just because, who knows why. But I was able, luckily enough, to acknowledge it, make changes, and use that to help me grow as opposed to using it to be a victim and continue down the same habits. My guest today has done the exact same thing. He is a real estate mogul. He has a portfolio of over $6 million. He has his own YouTube channel showing you how to build wealth through multi-generational homes. I bring you the amazing, father and husband, my man, Paul, Make It Happen, Macaluso.
Thank you for having me, Dorian. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And, before we hop into anything, I want to say thank you for having trust in me to be your wife's fitness coach. That's your partner. That's your day one. You told me you've known her more than you have throughout your life.
Yeah, that's correct.
20 plus years.
Been with her longer than I haven't.
20 plus years. So I know you care about her so much, and I always take it so grateful when people are able to trust, their significant other to make sure this guy's going to keep her safe, get her right, treat her with respect. So thank you for that. And, I mentioned at the beginning, and I found this out through your YouTube channel of you had a portfolio of over $6 million. And I'm still fairly new to don't even know much about. So what exactly does that mean?
Portfolio itself is your overall holdings as far as investments go. So the 6 million plus is overall real estate value that we currently control.
Okay, so you bought enough properties to where it's accumulated that much of money?
Yeah, that's that much. That's the value of the assets within the portfolio.
Oh, wow. And this obviously didn't come overnight.
No.
This obviously didn't just get handed down. Oh, some people it has, but for you, I know it hasn't. I have a little back of your backstory. And let's dive into how you even got to this point. Because I know you mentioned in your younger years, some trouble issues and stuff like that. Take us down a little bit of where you were as a youth and how you got to this point.
Sure. So growing up from the Bay Area, small town called Pittsburgh. It's the East Bay. At the time, it was the last stop on BART headed east. And overall, it's not much opportunity out there. Like if you're not in the tech world or anything like that, like there's really not much opportunity. So people have to go outside of their city to find opportunity. And not to say that I couldn't have found opportunity while I lived out there, but I was certainly headed in the wrong direction. At a young age, I struggled in school with not the work, but behaving myself.
Yeah.
So ended up having trouble in and out of grade school and into junior high. And then at junior high is when things started to escalate and I got involved in gangs and started to get incarcerated. So throughout my teenage youth, I was in and out of incarcerations for different periods of time. But overall, like from 14 to about 18, I'd say I probably had 6 months free.
Wow.
So it was basically my whole teenage life, I was incarcerated in one form or another.
So you damn near grew up in the juvenile system.
Yeah, at least as a teenager.
Yeah. And so before you even got into all the trouble and stuff, do you think what was going on in the household or your family dynamic that you think maybe caused you to act out?
I don't know that there was anything that I could say was happening in the house that was making me act out. I grew up to a certain point. I had both parents in the home.
Okay.
They split later on, but I was already doing shit when I was young.
Yeah.
Like by the time I was in third grade, the school district approached my family because my grandfather, he was actually on the school board at one point in time in his earlier years, so he had some clout still. And they approached him and was like, "Hey, look, I think it'd be best if you pulled your grandson out of school and put him in a private school or somewhere else because we're gonna end up having to expel him."
Oh, wow.
So that's third grade.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't even make it through fucking elementary school before that shit happened. So I was already doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing and behaving in a way that I shouldn't. And given the town that I grew up in the area that we're from, the gangs are just a natural progression if you're out there messing up.
And it's funny you say third grade, because when I was in third grade, I got expelled from school just from fights, mostly fighting, just being in fights all the time. I don't even know why. I don't know if I was angry or what. So I almost relate to that to you in that sense, where I was in third grade, already expelled. I had to go to 2-3 different schools. So you mentioned the area wasn't good. So do you think were people in that area stuck in like a cycle?
It's a small town.
Yeah.
You know, it's a small town. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows everybody's business. Certainly, I would say there's certain groups within the geography of the city that, yeah, it's generational what they end up getting into. But, you know, overall, it's just like any other city.
So you have to. So I would assume that if you just stay, anybody, if you would have stayed or anybody, you're probably gonna stay back and do the same shit everybody else is doing.
Yeah, it's gonna, if you don't change your environment and you want to change, that's one of the biggest things that is going to impact change in your life is changing the environment. So to stay in that environment and have that battle as well, trying to better yourself, I think it would ultimately been a lot more challenging. I don't think, just given the what I was doing and where I was, I wouldn't have tried to change anything.
No, for sure. And so you mentioned in the beginning that, you know, you've been with your wife more than you have been alive or without her. So I'm assuming you met her right when you got out.
No, so I was actually in trouble when I had met her. Her sister at the time was dating somebody that I knew.
Okay.
And he came to my house. I was on house arrest, and I met my wife through his sister coming over that day.
Oh, wow.
But basically from that day forward, we were pretty much inseparable. You know, every evening, because I was on house arrest, so she was coming over every evening, hanging out with me after she got off work. And then when I finally got off house arrest, it didn't last very long, and then I ended up catching another case and going and sitting down for damn near a year after that.
Oh, wow. And she was just still around, or you guys kind of were still in communication while you were locked up?
We were in communications for sure. She was doing the best to hold me down where I was. So.
And she mentioned to me that you guys met something with Togos.
Yeah, so she worked across the street at a KFC, and at the time I had just got out and I needed a job to fulfill a condition of parole. So a friend of mine's girlfriend worked at Togos, and she got me a job, and it was right across the street.
So
we knew a lot of people growing up, and we just never in passing met with one another, but we have a lot of shared acquaintances.
Yeah. That's so cool, because now she owns Togo, or you guys own the Togos now, and it's crazy. 20 plus years ago, it's kind of what almost brought y'all together.
Yep.
Because I never even heard of Togos until I met her at an event, and I was like, Togos, what is that? And I like it, to be honest. You know, sandwich spots are they're all over the place. I mean, I'm not a Subway person. I definitely hate that Subway. It tastes like shit, slimy ass tomatoes and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely a good product. And being in and out of the system at that such of a young age, did it change your belief system about yourself or about life in general?
I had the mentality young, fuck the world.
Really?
Yeah, I got it tatted on me. So, you know, that's how bad of a attitude I had as a youth. So that was where my mentality was. Like, it didn't matter. Fuck the world.
Damn.
So, you know, just running around doing the things I was doing, I wouldn't say, you know, I had a good attitude or perspective on life at all that young. I had a shitty perspective.
At what age do you think that shifted?
Whew, I was a grown man by then.
Oh,
I was
time it shifted?
I was like probably
2 years ago?
Hell no. Maybe in my early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah, I was probably 24, 25-ish.
Now, when you were going through all those things, you know, in and out of jail, getting into trouble, it seemed like in a cycle of stuff for years. Like, is there anything you wish somebody would have like said to you during that time to kind of help you wake up and kind of get out of that?
I had people talk.
Really?
Yeah, there's people that talk to you that, you know, there's counselors, there's staff members. They try to talk to you and talk sense into you. But at the time, back to having the perspective on life at the age that I was at and the things I was doing, it didn't matter. You know, it didn't matter who talked to you or how good they talked to you. If you're not in a mindset or a position to change what it is that you don't like about your life, you're not going to change. It doesn't matter who tells you what.
And that time, your parents, how were they feeling about you, or how was that relationship while you were going those 4 years of in and out of jail?
It was tough on them. It was tough.
Yeah.
It was real tough on them. My mom and my dad had recently split, like right before all this happened, so it was really, really hard for my mom, having no husband in the house, no one son missing, being in and out of trouble, having to come visit. You know, it's just a fucked up time for your parents.
Yeah.
I would hate to have to experience that with my kids.
No, 100%. I mean, I feel bad every time to this day when I think about being in jail and my mom just having to have the idea, because I don't have kids, but I'm sure you do, so I'm sure you understand, like, the idea of just your baby in there, nothing you can do, nothing to protect them, nothing to get them out. You got to just, and that shit would suck, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was wild going in at the age that I went in at, and I didn't have nobody in my family that would talk to me about going to jail. I knew some people in my family that went to jail,
Yeah.
but there was never no conversation or, hey, this is how it is, or this is what you got to do, or so, you know, the experiences inside of the juvenile system at the age that I was at and the things that I went through in there was fucking crazy.
Yeah, man. I was talking to somebody today who were watching this show, like a smuggling show, one of those reality shows, and they made the women go and do like a full thorough check, you know, and I was like, damn, it reminded me back when I was in jail, bro, and we were on lockdown one time. I was in it for like 2 months, and they came in there, like, everybody's on lockdown, everybody's stripped, and you gotta take your clothes off, and it's like 6 dudes behind me, and it's bend over and spread your cheeks.
Yeah, cough, squat and cough.
Man, when I think back on that, as encourage anybody out there, do not go to jail. Get your ass right. I'm telling you, you don't want to experience as men, females as also. Just that shit played in my head. I was just like, bro, I'm really right here, my asshole open in front of 6 dudes just to see if I have a fucking cell phone in jail. Never want to experience that again. So then, okay, 18, 19, that's around the time you came to Vegas, right?
19, I moved to Vegas. So I got out the last go around. I was like 18 and a half, somewhere in there. And then came home, got wrapped up in some bullshit again. And actually, you know, during the time that I was incarcerated, McKee and me had talked about moving out here.
Yeah.
You know, and I pussied out when I got out, and I didn't make the jump and got caught up in some bullshit again. And I left. I went on the run, and we came out here.
Damn, so you got out of jail. So she wanted to move. You were kind of against it, but then you caught the case, and you were like, I got to.
So, hey, let's move. Remember that? I think I'm ready.
Hey, man, sometimes it takes a hard push to make you want to make that jump, man. And so then when you came to Vegas, what happened next? Because now it seems like you're finding a new life.
Vegas was rough too, man. I mean, we came out here, we didn't have shit. You know, we came out here with a trash bag full of clothes, showed up on the bus, didn't have nobody but Makia's mom and 3 young sisters at the time. So their lives weren't 100% stable. So yeah, obviously we would be encroaching on their lives and what they got going on showing up.
Yeah.
But sure enough, that we did. She took us in without question. And that lasted a couple weeks, and then it was no good no more. So we went and did the weekly thing, lived at Harbor Island for a little bit, and through our conversation the other day, you had mentioned you know about Harbor Island.
Yeah.
So
you know about Harbor Island, Quan? Oh, exactly. You don't want to go there.
Just watch like a 90s episode of Cops. You'll know.
Yeah, you don't want to go there.
No, when I was doing Uber and Lyft, I was there a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Scary.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sketchy as fuck. So, you know, we moved in there, still didn't have shit.
Yeah.
And we were there. I paid up for, I don't know, a month, maybe a month and a half or something. Whatever we fucking paid up for, we didn't stay.
Yeah.
Makia was working during the day, and I was out trying to figure out how to get an apartment. And then we ended up getting our first apartment, and from there on, just grinding it out until we were in a position to. So for me, real estate was always in the cards. From back when I left, before I had came out here, I started getting into real estate through loans, and then moved out here, couldn't do shit because of my situation. So my wife got into real estate, and she was doing residential, and I was doing behind the scenes for her. And then whenever I was in a position to get my license, I was going to go out and get it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, once I was able to clear up my situation, I got my license, and then I started actively practicing in real estate.
So back to, okay, so you guys came here on the bus, you're on the run, you're 19 years old, you guys are both young, coming here, you know, you got the weekly for about on how long you were there. Being on the run and all that, how were you able to get an apartment?
You gotta have a straw man, everything. You know, just like at the weeklies, they'll do the warrant checks. So you can't give them your name at the weekly. You fuck around and had a marshal at your door the next morning. They'll take your money and set you up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least somebody laced me up on that. Like, don't give them your fucking name. So every you got to have a straw man. Otherwise, you ain't gonna be able to do shit. I couldn't do nothing in my name. Like, I got a job, and I remember telling the guy, he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna run the background check." I was like, "Look, you don't want to do that. You don't want to run the background check. Like, you're gonna find some stuff you don't want to find. Like, I'll work. Don't trip. If that's a requirement, I'll save you guys the time and the hassle, and I'll just tell you what it is."
Yeah.
So I told him what it was, and he was like, "All right, well, don't worry about it. We're not gonna run that shit." So,
Yeah.
he gave me a job.
It's crazy you say the warrant thing because we first moved here. That's what happened to us. We came here, me, my mom, my stepdad, my little sister. We stayed at Harbor Island. Within the first week, stepdad had a warrant for California and took him.
Yep.
And my sister got the Child Haven people came, got her. My mom was at work, had to get off work early, go get her. It's literally the same exact thing about the warrant checks. But what I was meaning was from Harbor Island, because you couldn't put your name. I know that. But because you're on the run, all these things, how were you able to get an actual apartment? Like, what'd you do?
You got to have a straw man. You know what a straw man is?
No, tell me.
Straw man is somebody that's saying that it's the shit's for them. So, nothing was in my name at all, ever. Still ain't.
Hey, man, that's some tools people need to know.
Yeah.
That's how you stay clean.
Who was it? It was Rockefeller or Morgan, one of them, said don't own nothing but control everything.
Damn.
So, you gotta understand how to control assets, not own them.
It's crazy because I think you going through all that stuff at that young age and all that, it kind of almost taught you and prepares you for where you're getting to now. You know what I mean? All the things the things you were forced to learn because you couldn't put your name down and all that, it would force you to learn ways to do it to where now, like you mentioned, Rockefeller, whoever, it's kind of like beneficial to be out of the light, but it's like you said, in control.
Yep.
But I want to hear the story about how you were driving to go apartment hunting and then you found the lady with the fire.
Yeah.
Yes, tell us about that.
So I, like I mentioned, Makia's role when we first came out here is you get the job, you get the 9 to 5, you work. I'll try to figure shit out. Prior to leaving California, I had gotten a pretty bad head-on car accident, and we were in the process of negotiating a settlement for it. So I had an attorney and whatnot. So I was waiting on a settlement. Shit pops off. I have to leave. I got to tell the attorney to scrape up whatever settlement he can. We can't fight it. I need the bread. So had some bread coming. He fronted me some bread before he went and negotiated. So I had some money in my pocket. So Makia's at work I'm driving around looking for apartments, stopping, looking at the Nifty Nickel and all the rest of the For Rent magazines at the time.
Nifty Nickel,
you
bro.
Remember that?
Damn.
Yep. So
that is crazy.
Going through all there, driving around, and I just was so happened to I was going up Flamingo Road, and I saw a fucking fire. So I pulled down the street. I'm just being nosy, watching it, and this lady was standing there next to me, and we just strike up a conversation. She just happened to be the manager of the apartments that this fire was in front of. It was a nice apartment complex. At least for me, I thought it was nice.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, I told her I'm out here looking for an apartment. She's like, well, come see these. And she was cool, but I was like, yeah, these look too nice. And, I got a little bit of a situation. And I told her, I was like, I got in an accident. I'm not working. I'm waiting on a check. And my wife's working. So we're not going to make whatever the income requirement is. And I said, if you'll work with me, I'll break you off a couple months up front. She was like, yeah, we could do that. Bring your wife back and we'll get it all squared away. So she hooked me up. She hooked me up just by being nosy, driving down the street, and she was super nice and took a shot at us.
Damn, see, now when I drive by car accidents and stuff, I kind of want to pull over.
If they're in front of an apartment building, go for it.
Now, hopefully it's in front of a fucking car dealership or one of those houses for sale or something. Hey, I was actually thinking about buying a house around here. And, so you said also, so you got the apartment, boom. Now, did you guys just stay in the empty apartment?
No. So shortly after we got the apartment, good news, great. Now we got a place to go. We got to furnish it. So during that time, most of the shops up and down Main Street were furniture stores. So I just was like, fuck, I'm in a new city. I don't know nothing. I'm just going to go see what these furniture stores are about. So I started going spot to spot to spot, and came across a spot on Main Street. And this lady, I told her what's going on. I'm moving into a new place. I need a house full of shit. I'm on a budget. She's like, all right, well, just go pick out whatever you need. I'm like, yeah, but I'm on a budget. I don't want to go pick out all this shit. And you tell me, oh yeah, now it's more than what you got.
Yeah.
So she basically was like, look, go pick out whatever the fuck you want. All right. So I go and pick it all out. And she's like, how much you got? And I told her, she's like, yeah, that's plenty. I'm like, hell no, bro. I saw the fucking tags on this shit.
Yeah.
So she hooked me up, so you start catching little breaks,
Yeah.
and the first break was getting into the apartment. Second break was getting it furnished, and then from that point forward, little things happen. And if you're not paying attention to the coincidences of life, you're going to miss out on certain shit. And I just was fucking on point, not missing out on anything.
Yeah. Dang, that's fire. And like during this transition period, what was like any like tough decisions you had to make?
Yeah, bro. Like we didn't have shit. We didn't have anything. Like, we're going to eat. Like, how are we going to eat? Or fuck, I need clothes. Like, how am I going to get clothes? So yeah, there was a lot of tough decisions to be made.
And what were you told me before you guys were, when you were staying at the Harbor Island, back to that, like you didn't have pots and pans, you were cooking with beer cans?
Yeah. So when we walked, we didn't understand how the weeklies were. They're just a fucking room. Like, you don't even get sheets, you don't get pillows, you don't get none of that shit.
Yeah.
So we thought we were cool. We opened the door and there's nothing. We're like, damn. So we didn't have anything. I just paid damn near everything I had to these fucking people for an empty ass room. You know what I mean? So like I had to figure it out. So we went to fucking Walmart. Pots and pans were out of the question, bro. It was either pots and pans or you want a fucking comforter.
Yeah.
So we chose the comforter, and I went and just bought a tall can, cut that shit in half, and was cooking noodles out of it for as long as we stayed there.
Damn. I've done some grind stuff, like shit that you have to do, but I ain't cooked noodles in a. Well,
Out
actually, let me tell you this. I've cooked noodles in a tortilla bag.
There you go.
Yeah, in jail.
There you go.
That's where you learn. Like, you get the tortilla bag, you throw in like 3-4 soups, you throw in the seasoning, the Doritos, chop up the beef jerky.
Yep.
And it's crazy how in jail that was like a delicacy.
Yep.
Like, you get a few other people, hey, you want to put it on
it
the
on the
soup?
spread, bro.
Yeah, put it on the spread, man. The messed up part about it, though, when it comes to the spread, when I was younger, my stepdad was in and out of jail, and he would make spreads at home.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was a young kid, I was making spreads already.
Yep.
So when I finally went to jail,
Like, oh, this is where it came from.
exactly, I was like, I'm finally gonna get the real, authentic version of the spread. Lukewarm water, bro. It's crazy. It's so crazy to think back on it, man. Telling y'all, don't go to jail unless you want warm ass noodles, lukewarm noodles. Now, so boom, everything's going good for you guys now, right? So you came out here on a whim because you're escaping some troubles. Apartment's good, house is good. And how did you guys eventually start getting towards the real estate thing? I know you mentioned you were behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
She got her license. How did that start to go? Because I'm assuming you had no money or nothing going for you.
No, we didn't have shit. It
So
was
what'd you
slow.
guys do?
It was very slow.
Or how'd you feed
very,
yourselves?
Very slow. Very slow. Makia still worked a full-time. At one point in time, she damn near had 3 jobs at once.
She's told me that before, and I
Yeah.
was like, what?
So, she was the breadwinner when I couldn't provide. So she whatever needed to get done financially, she was doing it. And I told her, like, this is the plan, this is how we're gonna work it. And this is what your role's gotta be in it until I can get my shit together. And she didn't have a problem with it, took it like a champ and fucking made shit happen.
And what transpired for you to finally like start diving deeper into the real estate?
Well, real estate is in my opinion, I learned very early on that it's the equalizer. Okay. It's the great equalizer of life. Never once has a banker asked me for a diploma or gave me any kind of fucking algebra questions or anything. Like the schools, you don't have to go to school to get a fucking bank loan on a piece of real estate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it equalizes things. If you can understand the real estate game and how to play it, it opens up things for the common man that doesn't go to school or get into a specialty trade. And I'm not in school and I don't have a specialty trade. So pursuing real estate sales and then real estate investments as a whole, it to me, like I said, I learned early on, it's an equalizer. If you understand it and you know how to play it, it doesn't matter anything else that happened in your life. It gives you a level playing field with everybody else.
And you mentioned to me that you guys when you guys were here and you had no food or anything, you guys are going to like lunch meetings.
Yeah. So we were doing lunch and learns. I forget what the hell they call it in the evenings, but like if we didn't have food, we got to figure out how to eat.
Yeah.
And if we're feeding our minds going to these free events where they're teaching you something, it could have been a variety of things. It could have been wholesaling, it could have been house flipping, it could have been asset protection. It didn't fucking matter. If it was real estate related, somehow, some way, there was a learning event that had food involved in it.
Damn.
So we would go to these things, eat.
And they were free?
Yeah.
Damn. So you're learning how to level up your real estate.
They're basically like they're in the seminar world, they're called preview events.
Okay.
So a preview event is like if I sell seminars, I have a 90-minute speech or 2-hour speech that I give that basically hypes you up to sell you into my weekend event. So that's what these types of events were, but they had food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
okay, we'll go and we'll sit down for an hour and a half, 2 hours and soak up whatever the knowledge is, and then we'll feed ourselves.
Bro,
Sometimes,
that's a win.
at certain points in the journey, it was we had to do that at lunch and we had to do that at dinner.
Yeah.
And we wasn't eating breakfast.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So that's at certain points throughout the evolution of where we were to where we are, that's how it was.
I love that because when you had told me that, I was like, wow, it's like not your deepest, lowest moments, but at a moment of uncertainty. Like you're out here, things are starting to get better, but you're unsure what the next move is. Your mindset was, let's go learn some shit for free and also get a meal. Where'd that come from? The thought process.
Where did that thought process? Shit, man, to be honest with you, out of being hungry. I was fucking hungry. If that's where I could go get a meal from and I halfway have some form of some little interest in it,
Yeah.
I'll go listen and eat.
Yeah.
So just being fucking hungry.
And so now you got the knowledge.
Yep.
You guys got the ball rolling. She's making the money. You're waiting to wait out your case. How did you guys get your first property and then start leveling up to where you're now 6?
Yeah, so I eventually got myself squared away and out of trouble, and then I was able to get licensed.
How long did that take to get squared away?
5 or 6 years.
So you're on the run 5 years.
Yeah, might have been a little longer. I don't really actually remember, to be honest with you.
Man, you just stayed low or just
Stayed out here, stayed under the radar, worked fucking oddball ass jobs, doing different shit here and there. And,
Yeah.
Once I started to basically burn out on the jobs, because I'm not a good employee.
Yeah.
So I was like,
I love the honesty.
I gotta figure out a business. So we started opening up little businesses to try to help supplement the income.
Okay.
And we had a cleaning service. We had junk removal. We turned the cleaning service into junk removal. I mean, it was funny because the cleaning service was a good little business for us, but at the time we were we're sitting at home watching the news, and it's a fucking segment on the news about Craigslist and unlicensed vendors on Craigslist, and that's where we was getting all the jobs from, was Craigslist. And they said how they were setting people up on stings, like, oh, come clean our house, and then you get there and they don't have a fucking license, they impound your car, they take your they throw you in jail, they fine you. I was like, yeah, we're not doing the cleaning service no more. So, because I wasn't squared away yet.
Yeah.
So we stopped that, and I'm like, fuck, man, we got to change this into something else. So then we changed it into the junk removal, and I was able to just run the junk removal shit.
Damn. And were you guys running it? Like actually working?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I was doing everything, bro. I didn't have no employees, so it was like I owned the job, but that's what it was.
And so now you got the business going. You got the real estate going.
Real estate sales.
Sales.
Real estate sales. So it took until the year my son was born. So he's 7. So about 7 years in the past was when we first started investing. But going back to what I had mentioned from the jump, we had a plan with real estate. Real estate, the goal with our real estate sales commissions, being in the real estate space as brokers or agents, was to take our commissions and finance our investments. Simple as that. So for a while there, I got on a roll, started stacking my bread after I first was able to get my license and do what I had to do. And it was always to be in multifamily. Always wanted to do multifamily investment sales. So,
why is that?
Variety of reasons. So number one, at the time, I looked at the space on who the competition was. There was a lot of older people that were getting out of the business or dying. So as far as competition is concerned, there's not that many heads fighting over the business that's out there. Number two, investors, so like if you're a residential agent and you go out there and sell somebody a home, they're most likely to buy another home or sell that home 3 to 5 years down the road. Okay, so your transactional frequency in residential is pretty spread out. When it comes to investments or dealing with investment properties, your transaction frequency is a lot shorter. So I knew that if I found a certain type of person that was doing a certain type of volume, I can carve out a good living based on the frequency of the deal flow. So that's why I chose that. And knowing that I didn't want to compete with fucking 3,000 or 5,000 residential agents, and I only was competing with 5 half dead old men. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I chose to go that route.
So then now, so continue on that journey. So you got the multifamily.
Yep. So start slanging
Did I say
multifamily.
multi-gen in the beginning?
Yeah, you did.
Damn.
It's all right.
Why'd you say something?
It's all good.
Multifamily. Okay, go ahead. Continue.
So from first year, I was actually working a regular job. I had met a guy, one of my mentors, that did personal development seminars, and I worked with him. He actually offered me a job right before I turned myself in. I had already squared everything away with the lawyer, and he offered me a job, but I couldn't take it. I didn't even tell him what the fuck was going on. So I ended up going, squashing my case, coming back, and like, hey, man, you know that job you offered me? He's like, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. I don't have no job for you.
Oh, damn.
So I'm like, all right, no, I see where this is going. I said, let me just explain to you why I couldn't say yes when you gave me the opportunity. And I broke it down to him. And he was like, all right, well, that job ain't available no more, but I got this job. So he still hired me. And that was pretty cool, because I had ended up getting my license maybe a year and a half later, somewhere along those lines. But I was with him for about 3 years.
Oh, wow.
So first year I had my license, I didn't do shit because I was with him really. And I was focusing on building up his business and helping him with it the best I could. Fast forward, I'm not a good employee.
Yeah.
You know, as cool as you are as a boss, as cool as the job is, I'm just not a good employee. So that position didn't work out. And I'm licensed and I'm 100% in the game 100% of the time. And then from there, again, it's having the plan. I want to do multifamily investment sales. What does that look like? How many people do I want to work with? What type of transactional volume do I want to do on an annual basis? Mapped all that out and then just started grinding.
Now, even though you had a plan, were there ever times where things got rocky to where you kind of like thought about pivoting or thought about steering away from the plan, or almost did?
When I first got my license, I didn't follow the plan.
Oh, wow.
And it didn't make shit. I got a big fucking donut the first year, you know, as far as income earned. So reevaluated, well, why is this? Well, I'm not following the plan. Well, follow the fucking plan. Start to follow the plan, you start to see results. And that's, you know, that was the progression. So met some very, very good clients, very good people, very good clients. Started to stack my bread, and then I bought our first, right before my son, we found out we were having him. I had took down a 12-unit apartment complex, and this was a fucking dump. It sat on the market forever, and I never paid it no attention. I thought I knew where it was.
Yeah.
And I really didn't. So finally, I'm looking at property, and I'm like, man, fuck it, I'll go take a look at it. As soon as I pulled up, I was like, yeah, this is the one. You know, I pull up, it's a fucking active water leak. So there's this big ass fucking puddle of water. There's fucking doors open to units that shouldn't have doors open with homeless people in them. There's no tenants. Like, I'm like, yeah, I want this one. So
what made you want that one?
Everything I'm describing to you. That's money.
Yeah.
That's money. You want to add value. You know, people, there's different reasons why people buy investment properties. I buy them to create wealth. And the best way to create wealth is through a value add property where you're adding the value to it. And people talk about adding value to residential properties, but it's really difficult, in my opinion, because your value is controlled by what a specific geographic radius like-kind property has sold for. That's what residential values are based on. But when you have an apartment complex, your value is based on the income, the net income that property produces. So you have things that are within your control as the property owner that you can have your hands on these levers to make the value go up, which is, you know, cost control, management of the property, and raising of the rents. So that's the deals that I do. I want the ugliest property on the nicest block, as long as it's an apartment building.
So you bought the 12 unit, then what happened after that?
I did my thing with it.
Really?
So what I Are you familiar with an infinite return?
I don't know nothing about real
Okay,
estate.
so I show people how to get free apartment buildings. Every apartment building that I get is for free.
Ah.
All right. So the 12 unit, for example, I couldn't take that to a traditional bank and have that bank finance it. It wouldn't work. So I had to go to a private money lender, get a hard money loan, pay a bunch of points up front on that, but he financed 100% of it. Put all my own cash into the renovation and the management side of things to stabilize it. So I bought it $325, and that I got bid up at court. And that's a story in all of itself, bro. I didn't even know there was going to be a fucking court date where people were going to be bidding. It was in probate. I had no experience with probate. So I go into contract with these people at $290, and they call me. They're like, "Yeah, we'll accept." I'm like, "Fuck!" I was hot that they accepted my offer, because as soon as they say they accepted, there's no negotiation. It's like I should have went lower.
Oh shit.
So, anyways, they called me a couple days before court. They're like, because I'm thinking I'm just going to get the judge to say, "Yeah, you guys could sell the property." I didn't know that Joe Blow and his fucking brother could be there bidding us up.
Yeah.
And sure as shit, she's like, "Oh yeah, I just want to make sure you're gonna be at court tomorrow. We got some competing bidders." I'm like, "Fuck you mean competing bidders?" So she goes on to tell me that, "Hey, yeah, by the way, even though you sat here and we've negotiated and you've been in contract, this might not be your property because you got to go before the court and have it bid."
Oh shit.
So I go to court, it got bid up. Long story short, I win the fucking thing anyways. It don't matter.
How much?
$325.
Okay.
And then I put about 70 G's into it. So I financed 100% of it, but I had to pay 6 points up front to the lender for that loan. Then I had to finance all of the renovation costs out my own pocket. And then I had to manage it, get the tenants in there, stabilize it, and then go to refinance it. So when you refinance the property, the goal is to get whatever money you've put into the deal back out. So now that the property, you've gotten all your money back out of the property and it's throwing off positive income to you. That's a free property.
So you refinance and you're basically going to get back the money you used to renovate it,
And some.
and then you're going to have just cash flow moving forward.
Yep.
So you're able to pay back your.
So I ended up paying back the original hard money lender, paying back myself and some, and still cash flowing positively. And I do that with every property.
You still have the property to this day?
Nah, hell no, I sold that. Hell no, I sold that. Sold that quick. Maybe within like a year, a little over a year.
Okay.
I took that one, sold it, rolled it into the next one, did the same exact thing.
And how many do you have now?
Right now, our current portfolio is 44 units.
44 units.
Yeah.
Damn. And what's the goal by the end of this year to get?
I want to be at 60 plus. So the goal for this year is I want to sell the property I have and roll it into a 60 to 100 unit property.
Now, you said you help people buy apartments for no money out
Free
or whatever.
how to get free apartment buildings.
Yeah. So, because I feel, because now we're in the new year, right? And the goals are up, the resolutions, the vision boards, all the cute shit that people want to do. And a lot of them always include the same things. You want to get in good shape. You want to make more money. You want to build generational wealth, which has become a real big buzzword, but it's crazy, right? It's been a real buzzword the past few years. I get it. Everybody wants it, but it's like, I think people say it not even knowing how.
They don't even understand what it takes to create generational
And
wealth.
I don't either. That's why I never really say it. Like, it sounds good. I definitely want that, a point to where I didn't got to really work and things are set up in a good way. But I think there's some study on something. I'm making shit up, I guess. But I can't
a study somewhere.
something along the lines of like, when people say out the things they want to do,
Yep.
it almost releases like a sense of dopamine into their body. So like, you might meet people like that throughout your life who are like, "Hey, I'm gonna hit the gym. I'm gonna go this and
But
this
they don't
and
do
this,"
shit.
and they never do it. But they get a high of just telling you, and that's how I feel when it comes to real estate and stuff like that. Like I said earlier, granted, I would love to eventually get to that point and learn more and do it. And then I'll hear people say certain things like, "Oh, I'm waiting to." It's so funny because it'd be people ain't got no idea what they're doing or the money, but their excuse is, "Oh, I'm waiting till the
Interest rates
go down." I'm like, bro, if the interest went right now to 2%, you probably wouldn't even know what to do still.
What do you think the interest rate on that first one I told you I bought was?
7 years ago,
Yeah.
that's 2017, 3.5.
12%.
Damn.
Yeah, and I paid 6 points on that money up front. So loan origination, whatever that loan origination cost was 6% of that loan.
Shit. That's a big hole.
So if again, the interest rate don't fucking matter. It don't matter. It's when you look at the property and you know what you can do with it, that's what matters.
Okay.
And even if you don't have the bread, If you know how to take that property that you just found, you can articulate it to somebody with money. That's all you need.
So, like I said earlier, or a few seconds ago about, the New Year, people have all these goals and stuff like that. From what you say, it seems like a simple formula, just not easy. And what is the formula for people that are listening they can take to, like, what would you say are I'll say 3 things they can do in this new year to set themselves up towards buying that first investment property?
Number one thing anybody can do, whether it's investing in real estate, it's opening a business, it's taking on a new skill or profession, is educate yourself. If you're not going to take the time to educate yourself on what it takes to do the thing that you want to do, then you're never going to know how to do the thing that you want to do. You're just going to go out there and guess by golly and throw shit at the wall and hope something sticks. And that's first and foremost is invest in yourself. It's the best investment you can make. Educating yourself on whatever it is. Number 2, don't be scared to fail. Fail forward fast. Mentor of mine that I told you I worked for.
Yeah.
He's the one that taught me that. Fail forward fast. Put out crap and put out crap 1.0 and then crap 2.0.
Yeah.
Like, just don't be afraid to put something out and to keep trying. So persistence. And I don't even know if there's a number 3. Patience, I would say. Be patient. You're going to look at a lot more fucking deals that aren't going to work than you are the deals that are going to work. But when you're able to zero in and clearly define the investment that you want to make, it cuts that amount of properties that you're looking at way down, because now you're looking at something that you got a clear definition on of what you want.
Yeah.
It goes back to that first apartment complex that I mentioned to you. I had a very clearly defined investment criteria that I wanted. I wanted a single story, no less than 10 units. I wanted to self-manage it. I wanted to fund it this way. I wanted to be able to refinance it within X amount of time. I wanted to get X amount of dollars out of the refinance, so on and so forth. Like, you drill in on exactly what it is that you want. And then you start to figure the shit out from there.
Now, back to your first point, what you said educate yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is 100% true, especially with the self-investment part. But on the real estate side, similar to with my career, fitness, there's thousands of people, right? You go on YouTube right now, you type in build wealth through real estate. It's going to be so many people, different information.
Mm-hmm.
So how do people like differentiate who's got the formula or who's saying this, who's saying, because I'm sure
well, you gotta ask yourself first and foremost, what type of real estate do you want to invest in? Because when you say I want to invest in real estate, that's a huge cornucopia of diversified.
That's a good word.
Product,
I never even
right?
used it. Cornucopia.
I'm surprised I said it right.
That was a good one, man.
So
Shit.
it's a variety of things to choose from. It's up to you as the individual. That's why you have to get very clearly identify clearly the investment you want to make and how you want to make it. Because if you don't sit there and clearly define it, you're just going to speak in general terms. And then say, for example, you get something that you spoke about in general terms. Now you get it and have to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's no fun.
Damn.
You want to have your shit squared away first, like from the jump.
So if I came to you, for example, and I'm like, hey, Paul, I've seen your content. I'm trying to get a piece of a property that's going to cash flow. What would you say to me initially, like the first thing I need to be focused on or getting it together? Especially
what makes you want to do multifamily to begin with? I hear you say you want cash flow, but there's all kinds of other properties that cash flow. So why would you want multifamily?
Because I know you.
Okay, no, fair enough. You know, like and trust somebody that's in that space.
Yeah,
I can respect that. That's actually a good first step, is finding people that you can trust to reach out to try to help you with whatever it is the endeavor may be. I get that. That's a smart thing to do. But you really have to look at and drill in why multifamily? Because cash flow is cash flow. It doesn't fucking matter if it's coming from a parking lot or an apartment building. Cash flow is cash flow. Now, are you familiar with what comes along with owning a multifamily property? Would be the next thing that I would segue into. How do you plan on managing that property? Are you going to give it to a manager? What do you know about property management? Because if you give it to a manager, how are you going to manage the manager? How do you know the manager's doing the right thing? Right. So it's a conversation that evolves. And quite frankly, most of the time, people that don't have an understanding of multifamily from the jump and they have that conversation, turns out that's not really what they want.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
what I like is that you ask more questions.
You have
helping
to.
that person, as opposed to just, oh, I got you. Come on, let's do this.
That's the difference between a salesman and a trusted advisor.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, 'cause
I'm
I
a
think
trusted advisor.
I think it's very important because if I literally had no idea, I didn't expect you to ask a question because I'm like, I don't know, because I heard you say it, your wife say it, so I'm gonna go with it.
Mm-hmm.
And
It ain't a sexy business. For anybody out there watching that thinks multifamily is a sexy business and it's a business for you and you want to get going in it, really think about what you're saying, because it's not what these gurus make it out to be on the internet. It's not. That ain't the business.
yeah,
You know, these guys that are online that are talking about real estate and multifamily, 9 times out of 10 are either syndicators or fund managers. So they want you to give them your money so they can do what they see as best fit for it. And if you don't know what the fuck is best fit for that money when it comes to a multifamily property, then you're just blindly giving somebody your money.
shit. And I like that you said that also, because I think with social media, a lot of things, real estate, like I said, fitness, any business, there's people out there who are putting a facade of certain things because they want to, in a sense, just take your money and, you know, like you said, do what's best for them in the long run, as opposed to really trying to help people. And I'm glad you told them that it's ugly, because we can see social media and think like, oh, multifamily, I can do that. It's, oh, hell yeah. And then they realize they get hit in the mouth that first time. And now they're like, oh shit, and don't want to do it anymore and get discouraged, as opposed to vetting people. I think it's very important that we start vetting people more when we're soliciting their services. I hope I use that right, soliciting services. I don't make it seem like prostitution, but that's what I meant. And then, okay, what about on the financial side? Is there a certain level or certain things you should have in order before even thinking about getting an investment property? Does that make sense?
So for me, so I have a difference of belief than some people. Some people think that as long as you understand real estate and you get what makes a good deal, you could go out there and just start raising money from other people to do the deals that you find, right? Like I get that, and I think that is a scenario that someone could be susceptible to for greed. Because if you go out and you're raising money to do something you've never done and you don't have your own money in it, you can make mistakes or be less careless, or more careless rather, than you would if you had your money in a fucking deal doing like if your roof over your head was jeopardized because you misstepped in that investment. I think it's better to start with your own money and do your own thing first, right? But again, if you find that right deal, you can go find the money for it.
Makes sense.
But you know, that's just me personally.
So ideally, you'd want to have your own down payment money ready.
Again, I didn't need down payment money when I did my first thing because I 100% financing, but I had to pay the points. I had to cough up the money for the renovation. If you plot out what it is, the type of investment that you want, you can plot out and map out all the aspects of how to make that investment. So again, just saying you want to be in multifamily because you want cash flow, well, that's not necessarily the right reason, right? Because you could cash flow off of a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And they could bring a lot less headaches. So it just, for me, there's 3 types of businesses, and I learned this early on, that are pretty much essential needs, okay? Housing. Got to have a roof over your head, okay? So people are always going to be renters. There's always going to be a segment of the population that rents. Food. People got to fucking eat, right? Whether you got the money to eat or not is another story, but you got to eat. You got to nourish the body, right? You got to shelter the body. You got to nourish the body. And you got to clothe the body. You got to put some type of clothes on, right? So those are really 3 primary businesses that robots, AI, and all that shit ain't taking away. So if you can get in and get right in one of those spaces or industries or whatever it is that you want to call it, you'll do well. And if you know us, we're in 2 of the 3 spaces with our investments. So if you can provide jobs, and this is from Robert Kiyosaki, I'm not the originator of this, all right? So when you get to a certain point, when you're a W-2 employee, you're a serf, bro. That's just what it is. No disrespect. Yeah. But the way that the financial system is, you're at the lowest rung of the ladder when you're a W-2 employee. Professional, that's like a skilled person. Investor and business owner, right? Entrepreneurs or business owners. When you provide jobs that the government can't, they're going to give you tax incentives. When you're going to provide housing that the government can't, they're going to give you tax advantages for doing that. So when you provide housing and employment, it's a noble thing. A lot of people they like to beat up on entrepreneurs and investors, and it's crazy. I see it. I'm nowhere near the level of certain folks on YouTube, but even in the little bullshit comments that I get on my videos, like it's a sour ass attitude over investors and business owners. But really, that's at the end of the day, if we weren't providing the housing and weren't providing the jobs that you folks need, you're going to rely on the government. Every time the government puts their hand in something, they fuck it up. You're going to want to live in a house that the government is responsible for? Come on, bro. It's a noble thing, bro. You're partners. You're doing things that the government can't do. And when you partner with them, they're going to give you tax breaks. And that's what I learned early on from Rich Dad. You get into business, you get into real estate, you're going to be partners with the government.
That's fire. Now, you went from, like I said, 18, 19 years old, in and out of jail. Fast forward, how long has it been? Almost 20 years, maybe?
Yeah, just about.
Almost 20 years later, now, you got two beautiful babies who are geniuses, like I said earlier. They're smart kids. Amazing wife, businesses. What would you say are, I don't want to say books, because people don't be fucking reading, I don't think.
I believe in books.
Do you? Okay,
yes.
What are two books, people who were who you were, to get to where you're at now?
I give you the books that changed my life.
What?
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
Richest Man in Babylon.
Okay.
I forget dude's name, Greg something is
Okay.
the author. Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Those three books changed my life. I go back to those three books every single year and reread them every single year. So if there's folks out there, they're not real estate books, they're not niche specific books.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with The Richest Man in Babylon?
Yes.
Okay, so you understand the story behind that and how those tablets came to be. That's thousands of years old. Thousands. Think and Grow Rich, we're coming up on damn near 100 years of that book being out.
Damn.
Have you read Think and Grow Rich?
No, I haven't.
No?
Yeah.
Shame on you.
Bro, for whatever reason, I'm so, what do they call them?
Lazy?
No.
Oh, okay.
I do audiobooks.
There you go.
I do audios.
They got it on audio too?
Yeah, I'm going to look into it. I just started a book, Way of the Superior Man.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Oh, man.
It's good?
I'm barely into it. It's about, for the man, well, women can use it too also, but just for men to help their sexual desires, work, and sexual relations, I believe. So I don't know. I'll let you know when I finish. I just started. But no, listen, I like audiobooks and stuff like that. I love self-development books, communication books. Crucial Conversations to me is one of the best books I ever read. Not ever read, but when it came to communication, because in my field of work, I got to be able to communicate effectively with women who might come in upset at their boyfriend, upset at their kids, on their cycle, and I got to be able to de-escalate it and, relate to them and communicate effectively, because I don't mind saying shit, but you got to eventually learn how to say shit in a way they're going to receive it, as opposed to just thinking my way is the way to go. Outside of those books, because, man, you came a long way. And once I met your wife, and that's why you can't judge a book by its cover, man. Because you see a person, you meet them, and then you start to get to know them. And we would train, and I'd hear her, she'll tell me her story of how she got to where and I'm like, what? And I would just want to pick her brain through every session, because I'm like, you're literally doing what I would love to eventually get to, point to where you got multiple properties bringing you money in, and you're just doing the damn thing. And then just hearing her story and then hearing you brought into it. Who would you say are some of the most influential people, one or two people that helped you on this journey and kept you like?
My wife, number one.
Really?
Yeah, she had an unwavering belief in whatever I was saying. And when you have somebody that believes in you and you don't fulfill and live up to the expectation or that belief that they had of you, in my opinion, you're a piece of shit. That's something that you don't betray. Being a loyal person that delivers on what they say is crucial. And, I can't let her down. Number one person is her, to be somebody that's going to have somebody's back and walk through the fire, I guess you could say, with that person.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than that. There's nothing. I'm a believer in soulmates, and me and Makia have been together forever.
Man, 20 years.
Nah, bro, we've been together before this lifetime, and we'll be together after this lifetime. We've been together forever.
What do you think? what's helped you guys maintain for so long?
Communication.
Really?
Number one thing, bro. Got to communicate. Early on, we didn't do a good enough job communicating, but we knew early on enough that we loved each other enough to figure out why the fuck we can't communicate the right way and then to get over it.
Yeah.
You know, so we there was plenty of conversations we had, like, how do we fix what's not working? Like, how do we fix this? Because we're not going to give up. You're not going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. So how do we fix what we got to live better with what we got? And we communicated what we thought, and we actively practiced what we came up with as a way to resolve it. And, you know, don't it ain't all fucking
No,
perfect.
I'm sure.
It ain't perfect,
That's a
but
long time.
I'd tell you like this, I don't go to bed mad at her.
Oh,
Ain't
that's amazing.
been a night that I went to bed upset with my wife. And I learned that from my grandma. My grandma and my grandpa were together for hella years, like a lot of fucking years. And I had asked my grandma, you know, what how did you guys stay together so long? She said, just don't go to bed mad. Whatever is going on in the day, just don't let it put you guys to sleep upset with each other. Figure it out before you go to bed.
Damn, you guys are really a fucking power couple, man. When you think about, well, whoever all knows, like just all the stuff you guys do together and the real estate side of things, and it's just like, damn, real power couple. Before we wrap up here, I asked you a question of if there's a TV, book, or movie character you could relate to, who is it and why?
Be 100%, bro. I thought about that question. There's no TV character or fucking fantasy character or ball player or whatever that I would look up to like that. Like I just that's not me. I look up to the people that if I said their names, you don't fucking know who they are, because these are cats that are living like proper human beings. You know what I'm saying? They're doing the shit that they're supposed to do. They're taking care of their communities. They're stand-up individuals. You know, their families are right. Like those are the people that I look up to and want to be like.
And what do you do to keep yourself around those kind of people?
Ooh.
Or attract, you know, to get around that.
Once I'm around them, I do my best not to not be around them. Right. So, however, I don't know that I can answer, this is what I do to strategically put myself in that environment. But when I do come across a person like that, I'm always going to figure out a way to be around them. You know, like in my business, there's dudes that I'll make sure I go to lunch with once a week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the same shit.
All right. And the last question I have for you is, what's a quote you live by and why?
Quality over quantity. And the reason for that is if you try to spread yourself too thin or too broad of an audience, if you try to be everything to everyone, you'll wind up being nothing to no one. So quality over quantity. And even in the business that I'm in right now, if by trade, being a commercial real estate broker, I'm not the guy that's out there tooting my horn about being the biggest, baddest guy in town. I sell all these properties. I sell all those properties. I tell you like this, if I didn't say this right now, nobody in this room would know, but I sell all the fucking apartments in this neighborhood. There's nobody in this town that sold more apartments in this particular neighborhood than me.
That's some flex right there,
But
baby.
that's quality over quantity. All those are going to just a handful of cats.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm fucking 300 different people I'm working with. These are going to a handful of cats every time that deal with me.
Damn. Boss man, is there anything we didn't touch on that you would like to dive into?
Nah, man, that's it. I mean, is there any questions that you want to get answered before we done?
Nah, I mean, you gave me great information. Your YouTube channel has great information about the investment side of things, helping people get those multi-family.
I
know I said on purpose this time. And I just love the story, man. That's the reason why I want to have you on, because a lot of us make mistakes at the young age, and even as we get older, you know, and it's about learning to accept those, revamp yourself, recreate yourself, and continue to recreate yourself. Like, if somebody would have heard your story, people see you now on YouTube and, you know, they know you do these properties, they might think like, damn, he's doing it. But not knowing it was a fucking struggle. Coming here at 18 on the run, 19 on the run, eating out of fucking beer can. Bro, it's a grind and struggle. And I really want more people to understand that when they're deciding to give up on that thing, because it gets a little hard. They get hit in the mouth once. It's like, bro, it's part of it.
Yeah.
If that's gonna stop you now, then don't even try again, because I think the more successful you get, the further you get into your growth and journey, the more shit's gonna come. And to me, that shit just calluses you to where now, because that's how I feel personally. I went through so much shit, falling out a 4-story window, being homeless, being in jail. when shit happens now, I'm like, all right, fuck it. Come on, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, what's the worst? What's the worst that could
worst
come
the
out of
worst
this
can
situation?
bro.
I'm cool with that. That'd be all right.
100%, man. And I just love the mindset you have, especially when you said you guys went to eat and got lunch and used the opportunity to grow your mind and learn while feeding yourself. Who knew a crisis, or a quote from me I love from Eric Thomas. He said never let a good crisis go to waste. And I was like,
Eric Thompson, E.T.
Eric Thomas, yeah.
E.T. Yeah, he
Yep.
stole that from a politician.
Who?
Who the fuck? I want to say it was Henry Kissinger or somewhere along those lines. Somewhere in that circle, they said that, and they said it in a real fucking nasty way too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn. Well, he said it in a way, and I was like, shit, that's real.
Yeah.
You're gonna have
E.T.'s good people, bro.
You're gonna
I
have
like
crisis. You're gonna have hard times, but that's where you're gonna be tested. Like, are you really about this shit? Are you really about it? If not, get your ass out. It's okay to be a 9-to-5 worker. Enjoy that, because the entrepreneur life ain't for everybody. And I've learned that as being an entrepreneur. I'm like, shit, I see why it ain't for everybody.
Yeah, when me and my kid, we go into the schools to talk to kids. One of the things that I bring up in the presentation that I give is like sales. You guys want the good and the bad? The good news is there's no ceiling to how much you can earn in sales, right? You can earn $1 billion in sales. You sell the right shit. But do you like being told no? Do you like constant rejection? Do you like people being fucking rude to you? Like those are the downsides. You like getting told no more than yes. Like that's what also comes with sales. That's why there's such an opportunity to where you can get to with it.
Fuck, that's fire, man. You dropped some good shit today, man. Once again, Paul, I know you're busy, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm glad it's so cool to have the wife and the husband both on my show. I appreciate you. I will tag his YouTube channel in the description, guys. You're looking to invest this year, 2025, build some wealth. This man's going to get you right. I'm telling you from experience of knowing him and his wife, great fucking people. I don't hang out with snakes, bruh. And I'm going to touch on what he said earlier about, what was I going with this? Investing in yourself. Sorry. You got your goals up. You got your board and vision boards, your resolution. That's cute. Whatever. You've done it every year. But start putting some investment into yourself. Go get a coach. Go take a program, a course. Get on YouTube, stop doom scrolling, and watch something that's going to help you become better in 2025. 2025. 2 words, keep growing.